Welcome to Blank Mix. We are joined by Francisco.
Thank you for having me.
So, to kick off our playlist and to get people to know you, we're going to do a little quick fire round of your name, your age, and your favorite song or album or artist at the moment.
At the moment, okay. Um, so my name is Francisco. My age is 35. Um, which I hate saying out loud. And my favorite artist record at the moment, I mean, I have to say Miggy, I think.
I loads of
Yeah.
people have said that to me, and I feel like I need to actually get into him.
Yeah, I kind of got into him through Dijon, being into
Yeah.
Dijon, and then McGee. And Dijon was kind of recommended to me because I'm a huge D'Angelo fan. Like D'Angelo is my guy. It kind of goes D'Angelo and then, Prince and Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder and those guys. But I'm a huge Alanis Morissette fan as well. Sheryl Crow, I love Sheryl Crow. Big Sheryl Crow fan. I did really enjoy Chapel Roan's album. I thought it was great.
Oh, I love
In
it.
that kind of pop space, it really was of all of the kind of female pop artists that are emerging and taking over at the moment. I think she was the one that appealed to me the most because I think she kind of does dance on that commercial slash artistic line a bit more than just the commercial glossy poppy stuff.
I
Yeah.
think she's definitely opened the door for more artists, especially like smaller artists that I've spoken to be like, oh, we can just kind of do what we want and it will work. People do want that. And I think
Mm.
Chapel's been really good for a lot of artists to be like, oh, we don't have to kind of follow what we're told to do. We can do what we want to do, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, and I guess it all just depends on what the result is that you want in your creative journey in your life. Like, it depends on what you're aiming for. If you want to be a global superstar, then there are certain boxes that you just have to tick and check. If that's not what you want, then you have a little bit more free reign, but you will be poorer. You'll be
Tough
poorer.
reality, but right.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into the main playlist now. So the first question is, what is your favorite song from your favorite album of all time?
Oh
They can be multiple if you need.
God, my favorite song from my favorite album of all time. I mean, Jesus, I've got so many coming to my head. But I think the one that I consistently go to, um, and the thing is, when I was growing up, like this artist wasn't as well known actually as they are now, which is weird. But because they've kind of become their longevity and their creativity has definitely solidified them as like a bit of a legend. But so for me, it would probably be Spanish Joint by D'Angelo from
Mhm.
Voodoo. I think Voodoo is I think Voodoo is the most complete record I've ever heard, like ever. I just from start to finish, I just it is a definite. It's like a religious experience listening to that album for me. I'm just so connected to it. Yeah, it means a lot to me. So I'd have to say that. I'd be lying if I'd just be trying to be cool if I said anything else.
No, we want
Yeah,
honesty. We don't need to be cool. Honesty's
yeah,
better.
exactly,
Who
exactly. Yeah, I agree.
cares?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, what is your favorite song that you've heard live and in the moment you were listening to, like, oh my God, it completely like turned into another song?
That's a good question. Um, oh, God, yeah, you're making me relive a lot of the live experiences that I've had. Um, I think I went to see Stevie Wonder at Hyde Park
Oh
in
wow.
2012, and obviously, like he's got so many bangers, but he did a kind of a medley
Mhm.
of like all of the ones that you just want, and it went on for about I don't know 15 minutes, It could have been the whole set could have just been a medley of like all of his famous songs. And I just remember thinking like, I think it's the only time I've been in the presence of something or someone and gone, oh no, no, like, yeah, they're a genius. Like they are like, there's no, and I don't use that word ever. I don't think that word should ever be used, really. But I think he's probably one of the only musicians, artists that I think we can say is a genius, like flat out genius.
No, he
Um,
is insane.
and
He's
he's got
just
the
got
songs to
banger
back
and
it.
banger. Yeah, exactly. Just banger after banger, really.
Yeah, yeah, like and there isn't, and like musically, technically, harmonically, you could say there's loads of artists that are great. Jacob Collier is great, but he hasn't written a banger. He hasn't even got one banger. Stevie's got, he could release four greatest hits, and you would know
Mhm.
every song on it. So yeah, it was yeah, again, yeah, that was definitely, yeah, and obviously in that kind of medley of tunes. It's just something about superstition. It's like balance. It's right on that line of like dark but
Mhm.
light.
Yeah.
It's got the perfect balance of tension and like release. Perfect. It's just yeah.
It could put you into a good mood, but also help you if you're in a bad one. It's
Yes, yeah,
like you
yeah,
said, the
absolutely.
perfect song.
Yeah, it's got the light and the dark. It's because it feels very minor. It feels very kind of sharp, and like the subject matter as well. It's like something creepy, but it's just like it's just pure soul music. You know.
As a musician, is there a side that you prefer? Do you prefer the performing or do you prefer the creating or do you like it when they kind of merge?
I think they're two different. Actually, I think they're two very different art forms because I think, um, obviously, like recording music and selling it is the business, and that is one process. But then performing live is actually really a vehicle to sell the recording. Like the product, if as a business, the product is the music. That's obviously why we're in a difficult place now because at the moment, like that the value of that said product is an all-time low, to the point where people actually think it should just be free. Um, and so all of us, but what's happening is it's flipped it, and obviously the live experience can never be replicated. You're either there or you're not, and so that the value of that has gone up. And I earned my chops in the pubs and the clubs and playing gigs and setting up my own, gear and doing all of that and singing with no monitors and learning to try and pitch myself using just the vibration in my voice or in my ear. So I actually find it quite hard to record vocals in a stale environment where there's nothing at risk. I guess, a bit like acting in front of a camera or acting on stage. And feel I seem to, my performances are better on stage, I feel, because there's more risk. And I like risk. I like the potential that it could go wrong. I like to exist in that space personally. I think that's where the magic is. So I prefer performing live. I never get to do it. I did it solidly for like 10 years nonstop, played everywhere. And now it's like I'm in my room making music on my own, and it's a very lonely affair. But I'm finding the joy in that and trying to find ways to replicate the energy as and when I can.
I love talking to artists about what they prefer and what they enjoy the most, and like most of the time it is the live aspect of it because you get to see people reacting to your music as well, which must be like an amazing feeling.
The best feeling is, especially playing small venues, which is mostly what I always played, was that you walk into a place, no one even bats an eyelid. They don't look at you. They don't recognize, especially when you're 5'7" and and you've got a bit of a big nose. And like, yeah, and you're like, okay, I'm in half an hour, I'm going to be in the middle of the room and they're going to have no choice but to look at me. And then you get on there and everyone's talking and a little bit of music starts and a bit of the room goes quiet. And then a little bit more music comes in and a little bit more of the room goes quiet. And then you sing And if that whole room goes quiet, I'm telling you now, there is no better feeling. You are like, I own all of you. Like you are all eating out of the palm of my hand now. And that's it. You own the room. There's no better feeling. There's just doesn't exist. There is nothing that beats it. And it's really, really hard. And sometimes it's hard when you do it and it doesn't work and you can't get that room quiet. And you obviously you feel like it's you. Or sometimes it's just something in the air. Like things just has to land right. You can't capture that on a recording. It's not the same. It's a different thing. It's a different art form.
What is a song that made you want to be a singer, or like a series of songs that you were kind of like, oh, I want to do this. I want to make people feel like this, or
Um, it was two. Hit the Road Jack,
mm,
um, which weirdly enough, like after years and years and years of making music, and I'm kind of getting old now. I'm a geriatric musician, really. I'm getting there, and it's quite liberating to have had like no success and be at this point and still be doing it. Like you're the madman in the corner. Like you see that guy over there? Yeah, he's fucking crazy. Like he's still doing it. Like look at him. There's something quite liberating about that, especially creatively, because you can't really go wrong. But you're also really confident because you know what you're doing. But Hit the Road Jack was I had a video of me singing it with a friend of mine about 11 years ago. I was in a period of like you've got to post something on TikTok every day. I've dug it out from somewhere, grainy, crappy, can't even barely see my face. I'm wearing my glasses, which I never normally wear my glasses in my videos. I posted it on TikTok and it went viral.
oh my God.
So I was like, oh, that's interesting. And the reason why it went viral was two reasons. One, it's because I'm just performing. I'm just
Hmm.
I'm singing a song I love and I'm singing it in the way that it makes me feel good. And the other reason was because I was wearing my glasses and everyone thought I looked like Harry Potter's dad. So, that's the business. This is the business now. We're getting the perfect example of what the business is about. Can it tap into a cultural zeitgeist? And is it good? If they both combine, you're cooking on gas. So yeah, that song for me is I remember seeing a documentary about Ray Charles on like the South Bank show on like BBC Two. They used to show it, and I was like, I want to be that guy. And I was like 6, 7, and then I remember listening to Whitney Houston's version of "I Will Always Love You," and I was
Hmm.
like, if I could ever get to a place where I could sing anything and it have as enough as the feeling that she emotes in that song. You're doing something. You're doing something pretty special. So that's going to be like a lifelong mission to write a song and perform it and be able to communicate the way that song communicates. I think so. Those two.
Is there a song that you wish that you wrote? You wish it was yours and you could just claim it?
Can I give you more than one answer?
You can give me as many answers as you want.
Purple Rain by
Obviously, yes.
Prince. Back for Good. Take that.
Hmm.
Um, what else? Um, God, probably Blackbird by
Hmm.
the Beatles. Oh, Paul McCartney. God, that song is unreal. Um, what else? Uh, Claire de Lune, which is a classical piece
Hmm.
by Debussy. I mean, if I'd have written something like that, you know, and there's no singing in that, but it would be like, oh God, that guy's got chops as well.
Yeah.
Or compositionary chops. Um, yeah, the list could go on and on and on. Like I spend my entire life wishing I wrote other people's songs. I actually spend my entire life writing my version of other people's songs. That's literally what I do. I go, I like that song. I'm going to nick it. I'm going to write my own version of it. So yeah, there's definitely four that I can give you.
When you're creating music, do you go more towards the production and like the melody side first, or is it like the lyrics and telling the story?
Um, when I was um, so my production journey's like not bit. It's quite a new one. So like into if as a producer, I guess I've only really been doing it for about 5 or 6 years. I've always been a songwriter. So when I was in a band for the longest time, my focus, obviously, as a singer was lyrics. And I think I wrote my best lyrics then because that was kind of my focus and trying to find a story in the compositions that the rest of the band were bringing to me. And in some cases, they kind of also helped me learn how to write, how to compose as well as songwrite. But when I've been doing my own stuff, I kind of went full circle. I thought that the greatness was in, overcomplication and packing things out. And, when I looked at the production that I enjoyed, there was a lot of that, Teddy Riley, who produced Michael Jackson's like kind of Dangerous album, and Timbaland and Pharrell. I thought there's a lot of information actually happening there. So maybe that's what I need to do. And then when I actually sat down and like studied them and I listened, I actually realized there's not a lot happening. There's a lot of space. Um, and I thought, it'd be great if I could use that kind of production. And when it comes to songwriting, try and find earnestness as much as I can. And like maybe I've tried lots of different techniques to try and inspire different ways of thinking and writing lyrics, especially. Um, Oasis, if you really like look at their lyrics, kind of nonsensical
Hmm.
and sometimes, and Wonderwood, and I'm like, what is it about? It doesn't even make any sense. And there is great value in actually just taking a song and like just writing what's a really good line, like just one really good sentence, and then using that as a jumping off point, like just trying to be deep for a moment or not, like trying to be as simplistic as possible, you know. And like the Beatles did it really good in like their first ever song, I want to hold your hand. They're basically saying I love you, but in like in a way that we all kind of know, and it's like so simple. So they're trying to find earnestness in both complication and simplicity, and trying to find the balance of it. Um, so I guess I kind of trying to approach both as best I can, but I think lyrics and story are always king.
Hmm.
So if I need to really, I've made a song before and produced the whole thing, and I'm like, I'm just not feeling it, and then I'm like, what if I just take it all away and just did it on a piano? And I'm like, oh, yeah, should have just done that from the onset. Like, should have just used the demo. The demo. The demo's always
Yeah.
got the demo's always got the thing.
I think the production can change a song like so much. It can really like dictate what the song sounds like. Because I think whenever you listen to a song for the first time, you're listening to the melody because you can't always take in the lyrics at first. And there's
Yeah,
been times where I'm listening to songs, I'm like, oh my God, that song's actually really, really sad, but it sounds so upbeat. And I love
yeah,
it when the lyrics don't match the production. And you're like, hold on a minute,
yeah.
what's
Well,
going
Teenage Dirtbag.
on? Hmm.
I always come back to that because in that last verse when he says, "I feel like mold. It's prom night and I'm all alone. Behold, I feel like mold." I'm like, that is greatness. That is incredible. Like, and it kind of goes quite down. He goes, I feel like mold. It's like, God, I know exactly how you feel, man. Like, we've all been to school. We all know what it's like to, be there.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think that, but the melody kind of gets you there, hooks you in.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite song that you have released?
Oh, God. Um, I'm going to give an answer. I feel like the answer is really is like what Enzo Ferrari said. My favorite song is my next one. Because it's always the one that people haven't heard yet, or the one that you're
Yeah,
working on. It's like, oh, you wait till you hear this one, and then no one
yeah.
likes it. um, my favorite song so far that I've released is literally the one that most people haven't like listened to. It's my worst performing song, but it's called London Town
Mhm,
because it was just like a real. Well, actually, I think maybe actually Ways to Kill, like
mhm,
from what's going to be on this record, it's between those two, and they're both my angriest songs. But Ways to Kill definitely, actually, I think is my favorite song because there's a real story in there, and it's written from a character perspective, and it kind of dances on the line of like, God, this person's kind of talking about a kind of a murder. They're fantasizing about murdering someone
Hmm.
that they really like dislike, but it's not really about that. It's kind of more about trying to kind of kill like an internal feeling. It's
Hmm.
like a part of you. It's more trying to like get, a negative thing inside of yourself. That's kind of where I was writing it from. That kind of manifested as like an ex-boss in my case, but yeah, so that's probably my favorite song actually that I've written.
When you're writing, do you kind of take like what's going on in your life, but kind of merge it with fiction, or is it just strictly like this is what's happening?
I think sometimes there's a bit of both.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think with Ways to Kill, it was very much some stuff was happening in my life and how it was making me feel, and it was like, and the way I was feeling kind of was personified by this external person. So I recognized that this external person, although like in my opinion, it was a toxic relationship between employee and boss because they were my boss. Um, they brought out a lot of negativity in me, and it was really the negativity in myself that I was trying to combat. And then I was like, how do I put that into a story that people can understand? And it's not that, it's
Hmm.
not like, oh, whatever. But this whole record that I'm doing, like, it's called The Psychopathology of Frankie Suave. And Frankie Suave is a character that is in me that at certain periods over the last couple of years, I've felt has either been too present or not present enough.
Hmm.
And ultimately, it's accepting that it's a part of me, he is a part of me, and that I'm going to need to find a way to manage as and when I allow him to show himself. Because
Hmm.
sometimes it's a good thing, but sometimes it's a bad thing, And I think we all have that. Like I think we're all dealing with that. So that's why it's a bit of a jukebox record, I'd say, because there's a lot of different genres and there's a lot of different feelings. There's a lot of different things happening because it's all about the different parts inside of us.
So finally, what is your favorite song by another small artist or emerging artist that you think needs more love and people need to listen to?
Um, I actually use this online thing called
Hmm.
Forgetify,
Hmm.
which if you go in it, you press generate and it gives you a song or artist on Spotify that has zero plays or listens.
Oh wow.
And you don't find like amazing stuff on there, but you find really interesting stuff. And I just think it's so admirable that there's people just doing it for the sake of doing it. And I consider myself one of those people, even though I'm getting streams, technically I'm in a certain percentage of people. So I don't know how small you mean. I guess there are a lot of artists that are technically doing better than me, but are still very, very small.
Hmm.
Um, I, I, I don't know if this artist is small, really. They're not. They have a good following. In my opinion, they have a better following than me. More people listen to them, but I know them and I'm friends with them. And I just think they're one of the most talented musicians around, artists around. There's a song called Alibi by Jordan McCampher.
Hmm.
And I've been lucky enough to do like backing vocals for him before. And I just love that tune. I just think it's so good. We don't hear music like that anymore. It's just so good. So yeah.
So that wraps up our playlist of the day. If you very quickly want to shout out your socials, your Spotify, and everywhere else that people can find you.
Yeah, so Spotify, if you put in Francisco, I didn't realize this. Obviously, my name is pretty unique in the UK. This is where I grew up. But obviously, there's like 2 billion people in the Spanish speaking world. So if you type in Francisco, you might not find me. But yeah, just put in Francisco and like, I don't know, put ways to kill and you'll find me. Um, Socials is all like Francisco Things, Things. It's all the same all across the board. TikTok, everything's Francisco Things. Yeah, follow me. I need followers, please.